podcast made by basketball fans for basketball fans. From the hottest takes, news, analysis, and passion for the sport that we all love, this is the Fast Break Pod with Finn James and Will Tremaine. Welcome into the Fast Break Podcast, the podcast made by basketball fans.
For basketball fans.
Finn James.
Will Tremaine.
And we got a special guest on the show, Josh Kooiman. Wait, round of applause. Second guest on the pod. We love to see it. Thanks for coming on, man. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's all love. We're going to keep the regular schedule programming. World news.
We'll get into Josh in a bit, but start off. Black Clash, the NZ cricket game took place. Cricket versus rugby, and cricket win by 5 runs in this one, Finn. Not going to lie, I didn't watch an ounce of this.
Not a single minute, bro. Not a single minute.
But you're our local cricket genius. What happened?
All I remember is Chris Gale playing. That's about it. The West Indies dude, yeah. Otherwise, didn't watch it. I'll be honest with you. Didn't watch it. It's a weird game. I don't mind it. It's a bit of fun, but for charity and stuff. But yeah, just honestly couldn't give really a rat's ass about it. UFC tonight, Will.
UFC tonight. Hopefully I'll be able to watch the last couple fights after we finish recording here. Makhachev versus Moicano now. Last minute replacement. Sayukian pulled out last night with a back injury. So should be an easy fight for Islam, but we'll see how it goes. And then the Bantamweight Championship, Merab versus Umar. Kind of a clash of styles, both wrestlers. So be an interesting night of wrestling, to be honest. And football, Finn, what's happening there?
Auckland FC 3-0 win. Love to see it. Home as well. Go Media Stadium. Josh, any news you've looked at, seen, want to throw out there? Nothing. NFL, big NFL guy.
Detroit about to lose.
It's rough.
Shout out Damien.
Hard luck, Damo.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Hey, we'll scrap it there. We'll get around to the NBL Round 17 review, of course. There's been about 4 games, 2 more including the Breakers. If we look around at the table, Illawarra still ahead at number 1. They got a 117-95 win over United. A really, really close match there. Did you get either of you to watch it? I think you watched it.
Yeah, I watched it. Illawarra just too fast. I think Melbourne just can't win if they don't hold teams to under 90 points is kind of what it seems like at the moment. They just can't keep up with the scoring. So Illawarra just play quick, man. Yeah. They shoot a lot of threes. It's nice to watch.
Tyler Harvey, bro, Trey Cal. Man, they're very, very, very good. I'm not surprised that they're top of the table. Justin Tatum's been on an absolute heater of a coaching run since he came in last season. I've said it a million times on this podcast. Justin Tatum came in and turned their season around last year. I'd say he's the best coach in this league.
I think Illawarra are the team to beat in this league right now. I think if they're the odds-on favourites to win the chip. There is another team that I personally like more than them, but they definitely established themselves as... Well, we'll get into it. Perth, who have now jumped to number 2 on the table. And for one reason and one reason only, Bryce Cotton. That man, best player in the league for the last 7-8 years since he joined the league.
It's ridiculous.
I think if he goes on a heater, then Perth can win on any given night against any team in the league.
I would be very surprised if the Hawks in Perth they're going to be the 1 and 2 spot, I think, going into this playoff. I mean, there's like 3 or 4 rounds left. So, it'd be very surprising. Bryce Cotton, unanimous MVP, we're thinking, team?
Oh, Trey Cal, man.
Trey Cal.
Man. Can't not give him a vote.
Yeah.
I mean, Bryce, he's averaging 38 over his last 8 games or something ridiculous.
Stupid,
I actually don't think that he's the key to Perth winning the whole thing.
Damn.
I think it's the other guys accepting that Bryce is the key. And I think that's a thing that they've struggled with the last 2 years, whereas just finding the guys who are just willing to give Bryce the ball and say, it's your team, let it rock. Which I think,
a little bit up and down over the season.
Does he suit Bryce? That's a question.
Yeah.
I know. I don't think he's the key. I think guys like Pinder, Henshaw, just willing to accept a role, then they can win it all.
Just touching on Ben Henshaw, actually, I think he's got crazy potential. A young dude, played for the Nuggets last year down in New Zealand, was very, very good down here. Obviously part of that group, the Nuggets and Wildcats sort of group. What kind of potential do you see from Ben Henshaw? Have you played him before?
I haven't played him before. I didn't even know he existed until he played for Otago. Yeah. I don't know, how old would he be?
Bro, maybe 20?
Jeez.
Very young.
Yeah, he's probably 6'4",
6'4", scores all 3 levels.
Couple years younger than us now, boys.
And then learning off the best player in the league.
I'm thinking NBA potential. I mean, honestly,
I think he's in the rankings, is he not?
Yeah, I think he is, which might be like a pretty outlandish comment considering he's so young and not many people knew who he was. But man, he's had some very good games this year, like 20+ points games as a young gun playing alongside Bryce Cotton. Pretty crazy, second best team in the league. But
speaking of, Perth got the win over Adelaide, 110-103. At the time, we were happy with this result because we thought that's what the Breakers need. We have a chance still to get in. Obviously, we'll get into it soon, but I think our chances are officially. I think, is it official?
I'm not
we can't
sure.
even catch them anymore.
I believe last night they said it was over.
Yeah,
I
well,
think.
there you go.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think they said it was over.
It was
Crazy,
pretty much already over anyway, but we were still holding on to that last little glimmer of hope. But we're done now, thanks to that loss to South East Melbourne, which we'll get into. And the last game of the round, Hawks versus United, 117-95. Hawks get the W, so big win in that one.
Huge win. Anyway, before we get on to the Breakers game, I think it'd be very rude not to address our special guest in the middle. We've got a number of questions for you, mate. Obviously, Will and I, we've been friends with you for like a number of years, I feel like, through high school, and been watching you, get to play the sport that you love as a job, essentially. But obviously, the people behind the camera might not know a lot about you, so we thought we'd just see how you've been, what you've been up to, what's the off-season entailing, how's life going. You want to start off, Will?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I was a big fan of yours, even it may seem a bit weird to say, but one year at Westlake, year 12, I remember watching the Prem's basketball games and just seeing you cook from 3. elite shooter over here, guys. You and Wilkie. So I always thought you were going to go somewhere with basketball, and obviously you have. Where have you been with basketball so far in your career? Obviously, I know you've been over in Shepparton in the Big V League. But yeah, do you want to?
So obviously I went to Westlake, and then after high school finished, I tried my luck with they're originally the Huskies. I went to a trial there. Yeah. Not really expecting much, to be honest, because I didn't think I was like any good out of high school. I thought I still had a lot of development. I wasn't writing myself off, but I didn't go in with the highest expectations. But I actually worked my way up into a development spot, which I had for like 2 years with them when they rebranded to the Tuataras, working with Coach Aaron. And then Wilkie obviously was over in Shepparton, and he left in 2023, and they asked, do you have another Kiwi? And he said, yeah, I got the perfect guy. And the rest is history. So I've been playing there for 2 years now and re-signed for another year coming into 2025.
So would you say, but for people that don't know where Shepparton is, Big V League, which is...
Big V League, so it's Victorian Basketball League. The whole of Victoria. We are 2 hours outside of Melbourne City, but really we're 2.5 hours from almost every game we play.
Damn, I didn't know you guys had that much travel.
Yeah.
I didn't know you had that much travel.
And then last year, we were in Div 1 my first year, which is really like the second division. We were traveling 5 hours for some games. And then we won that in my first season, and we moved up to the championship division, which was like the top division. And last year we came 4th. But those games are a bit less traveling, still 2 hours, 2.5 hours, but they're all Melbourne-based teams. So it's a bit better.
You guys get like a big team bus to those games?
Big team bus. Shout out our driver, Brucey. But we have the smallest bus in the world for basketball players.
Well, no leg room for them.
My knees are hitting the seat. I couldn't imagine the 6'8" guys who have to sit in that bus.
So for people that don't know, what position do you play? Like, how tall are you? What kind of style of play do you reckon you have? I'm 6'1" in shoes, so you play basketball in shoes. So I'll say I'm 6'1". Yeah.
I'm a point guard. I'd say I'm a pass first player. I like to get my teammates involved. I'm a smart player and a leader of my team. But this year I'm looking to take the next step in my game to add a bit more scoring. Nothing crazy, nothing like, I don't want to be Kobe Bryant or nothing, but I just want to develop my scoring side of the game just to take me to the next level. Always driving for something more in my game.
What's that like go-to shot for you, do you feel? If you get given the ball by the coach and you need to get a game-winning bucket, what are you going to?
In an ISO?
Yeah.
Ooh, in an ISO.
No screens.
Probably, what's it called? Between the legs, like step back, off the left hand, so left to right, and then misdirection. Misdirection, that's the name. Misdirection, step back between the legs. I don't know why and I don't know when that started, but that is my most comfortable shot getting into a three.
Yeah.
Everything about it just feels nice, and like I feel like I make that shot most of the time when I'm playing ones against someone. But my real go-to is pull up off an on ball.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Like that's my shot in my first year going baseline off a punch screen. I get to that pull up a lot, and then last year I played a bit more out of the middle. So trying to develop it now that it's a 3 rather than a 2.
Nice.
Just with the way basketball's
So
going.
you went to Westlake Boys Prems for what, 3 years?
3 years.
3 years. You're
3
11,
years.
year 12, year 13.
Yeah.
When did you know that, like, obviously you had the Huskies and you like had 2 years there?
Yeah.
Did you think that there was a possibility that this was like kind of the route you would take with hoops, or were you kind of set on
Going to
studying?
Australia?
Yeah. Like, did you ever like think there would be a possibility?
Not my first year out of high school, just because we didn't have anyone in the team, right? So my first year out of high school, Dylan was still in Franklin. Tinashe, my mate, had been there, but like that was a while ago. So I didn't really think it was an option that the first year out of high school. So I was studying at university. And then the second year out of high school, Dylan went over there. And then kind of when I wouldn't say plateaued, but like stayed in the same spot, which I guess is plateauing for the Tuataras, that's when I kind of looked at it and Dylan was like, look, like when I leave next year, because I'm wanting to go up a level, I'm going to get you here. That's when I was like, okay, this is like a real option. Like I'm going to go to this team. And then it wasn't really once until I got there that I realized, oh, this is my place. Like these are my people. Like I love this town. I love playing for this team. So
Has it become like a second home almost?
oh, 100%, man. It makes it hard to leave.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I say all the time to people I'm close with, like I have no good experiences at the airport anymore because when I'm leaving Shepparton, I'm sad because I love it there so much.
Yeah.
And then when I'm leaving Auckland, I'm sad because I love it here so much. So it's like it's really, really tough.
So it's like like a second home. How would you say your team over there is like a family? Like is it
100%.
The team that you have most of the time would be the same team every year, maybe bar a couple imports?
Yeah, I think we have a few new players this year. I think we have we're a small town, which like I said, we travel 2 hours for games. So we have a lot of locals who stay the same, guys who are from Shepparton. Like they're always going to play unless they retire, pretty much. But we do have the odd person who travels from out of town, like an hour and a half. And so, it's a big commitment for them. They put in like a lot of driving hours to get to training. So this year we had a few of them, 2024, we had a few of them coming like an hour and a half away. And then this year, they've decided to relocate so they don't have to drive as far, I think, or better situations just for like their life, which is like completely fair. So this year we got a few new players in, which is kind of exciting.
Sweet. And I think one of them used to play with Dylan at Wodonga, I think.
Yeah,
I noticed that.
Yeah,
interesting. That was a little plug from Wookie, was it?
Nah, he played with one of our players in CBL, which is like the off-season league for our league. So I mean, Australia is so set up with basketball that they have an off-season league for our league, which is like an off-season league. So
crazy. So would you say I feel like New Zealand professional scene is very small, obviously, only sales. Aussie has far more opportunities, clearly.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a version of our league in every state.
That's
so
crazy.
There's we're the Big V League, which is the Victorian League.
Yeah.
Then you got the Sydney League, which is the Waratah League. You've got the Darwin League. You got probably a Brisbane League, I'd assume. You got a Tasmanian League, and and then you got the NBL 1 above that. So it's like so much more opportunities.
Always ways to go.
Yeah.
So NBL 1 is obviously NBL 1's the pinnacle. Obviously, it's in a different season though. NBL is
the same season.
Same
NBL
season?
1?
No, like NBL. Breakers and them. Obviously, they're over that summer period. So, but is NBL 1 like the pinnacle of the domestic league in Australia?
It is I'd say in our state, especially just because we have pretty South, which is Victorian, and Tasmania is pretty elite teams.
Yeah.
The top teams especially, they've got 20 teams though, so
damn,
there's a lot of players. But yeah, for sure. But I think the Big V League's pretty elite league. I think we've played some NBL 1 teams from South and from East, and we've beaten them before. So I think you don't discredit our league just because we're not called the NBL 1. You got to remember Victorians the mecca for basketball over there, and there's so much talent.
Yeah.
You know, and some of the teams we play against have just as much money, if not more, than an NBL1 team. It's just maybe their girls' program's not as good or something like that, you know, so.
Yeah, so you guys obviously have a lot of, like, most of your team are locals, apart from
Yeah.
maybe, 2 or 3 imports you guys get?
Well, yeah, 2 Americans or 2 internationals.
Yeah.
And then last year we had 2 Kiwis. This year, you know, still waiting to see some signings, but it's looking likely we're going to have 2 Kiwis again. But I think technically now I'm considered as a local, just because I've been there for 2 years and I live there now. So yeah, I feel like I'm a local now.
Yeah.
But I'll always be a Kiwi. I'll never support Australia.
I want to wind it back a little bit, Josh.
Yeah.
What was your first memory of picking up a basketball? And was it like your first sport that you remember as a kid, or were there other sports that you tried before you got to basketball?
My first sport organised was soccer.
Soccer?
My dad's a big soccer fan. My uncle's a big soccer fan. So like my influence around me was soccer originally.
Yeah.
But I don't know the age. I'd have to like really work it out.
Yeah.
But my sister was a big basketball player. She loved it. And my mum coached her because my mum also played basketball. So I would go to my sister's trainings at Murray's Bay with her, and the boys would train at the same time. So that's probably my first like memory of like actually being around basketball and picking up a basketball. But then my first organised basketball, I think, was like year 3.
Oh, damn,
Where,
real early.
The first year you could play, because you can't play in year 0 and year 1 over here.
You're too small.
Yeah.
That's early.
Yeah, I've been playing ever since you could.
And you've been playing, obviously, in New Zealand. There's, like, rep programs. You've been playing, you obviously played through those as well throughout your
I
youth?
played for Harbour from the first year, the second year I could, I think. I played under 13s was my first year. And then obviously played right through to 23s. Pretty cool that my first coach was Zach, and he's still my number 1 coach now. So I still have the same coach that I have in my first year of Harbour.
Yeah, so Zach, for anyone that doesn't know, this is Zach Fitzgerald.
Yeah, sorry.
He owns a gym over here called Hoop 33. Josh you've probably been a part of that gym for before it even opened.
Yeah.
How important has the development program at Hoop 33 been for your basketball career?
Oh, it's huge. Especially like once they opened up the facility, I think it's just boom, skyrocketed. Like more people are coming now, which just means the talent's getting better and you're just having to work harder. I think when like I first started with Zach, Hoop 33 probably was like an idea in the far future for him. So a lot of it was like individual based, just working one-on-one with the coach, which is like good, especially at a younger age, like teaching you the skills. But now that I've gotten older and like started to enter the more professional scene, like just having a gym where all hoopers go to, all professionals go to, just allows you to get so much better, because every day you're playing against another person who's just wanting to get better.
I see some of those scrims down there at 33, man. It's crazy the players that are pulling out some of those games.
We were down there, it must have been last week, Thursday or something.
Carlin Davidson
just running up and down the court. You know, Liam Judd, Zach McKenzie. You got players like that going to Hoop 33. It's a very high level.
I mean, they had Steven Adams at a scrimmage.
Steven Adams been at a scrimmage. Shout out Hoop 33. Will and I have been members for a long time. I've been a member since that place opened as well.
Yeah.
I've fallen off a bit.
They have the breakers turn up there as well. So,
What is it? Do the breakers use the
weights
weights
and
room?
stuff?
They have a partnership.
Boom. There you go. But Hoop 33's been booming. I mean, I've been using it since I opened too. Obviously, my heyday is long gone. Long gone.
Don't sell yourself short.
But I'll tell you now, one day me and Josh actually played on a couple of teams together. So, hey, we were almost there. We had AUT in 2022.
Yeah, it would have been 22.
That was and we also same year North Harbour under 23. So don't count me short. I actually held my own, some could say. But actually, I want to wheel back up to those tournaments, because I feel like that's where we became a lot closer, you and I.
Yeah.
That AUT tertiary tournament, do you think that must have been some sort of a breakout tournament for you? Because I think you averaged near 30 points that tournament, didn't you?
It was definitely the like you said, the breakout tournament. I think more for my mentality. I had not a rough tournament with Harbour, because I didn't have like an overall bad tournament, but I had I'd say a bad last 2 games for my standard of what I thought of myself. And I actually remember sitting with a friend who's very honest with me, will always be honest, and he just said, like, after the way you played in those 2 games, like, you could see maybe maybe you don't want it as much as like what you say it is to be.
Yeah.
And you know, obviously that hurt to hear, but
Yeah.
like honestly, it was the best thing I'd
Yeah.
ever heard in my life for my basketball, because after that tournament, I had AUT, and it was just like, I'm going to kill this thing.
Yeah.
And you know, obviously I had a really good tournament, and that just like helped my mentality so much. It was like, yeah, I can really do this thing. I just got to have that belief that like, you know, I can.
Sadly, we fell short that tournament
Yeah.
too, man. I honestly believe fully healthy AUT. That's that
Oh,
tournament.
for sure.
I played a whole tournament on a sprained ankle. Jaden Boucher goes down with a fractured
Well, we
foot.
were up that game too.
Connor Mills busted knee.
Yeah.
Kooiman's played about 40 minutes a game. Vic Uni in the semi, and man, Ruben Natush, Jake Carr did some things to us that I will that probably can't be put on the internet. But man, I just remember that one game. I think it must have been against Massey.
Yeah.
44, I think it was.
Jesus. What is your career
game.
high?
48.
48.
48.
Shout out Norm Fong at North Harbour Basketball. That man allowed me to shoot whatever shot I wanted. Mainly threes, obviously, because at that time I was just mainly a catch and shoot player with the odd like pull up. And yeah, I just went crazy. I was hitting everything that game.
No, what
fully
age group?
remember.
What age group?
Under
was that?
19s. Under 19 Harbour B. So I had like,
Harbour B.
yeah, I had Dallas and
Oh.
Joe. Shout out
Yeah,
Joe and Sarah
yeah.
Withridge.
Yeah,
in my team,
Sarah
so-
Withridge, Hoop 33 goes.
Yeah.
Some could say.
So yeah.
Would that be one of your favourite memories of your basketball career, or are there any others that trump that, do you think?
Honestly, I barely remember that game.
Oh, damn.
One of my favorite memories. We played up in Whangarei, against Whangarei High School without a lot of our players. Like Sam, this is for Westlake, sorry, I should say. Without Sam, Dylan, I wasn't playing. Jet wasn't playing. Like I think they were on an American tour or something like that.
Yeah.
And we went up there, not like low expectations, but we were kind of just like, you know, we're here to get better, not necessarily to win this game. You know, they had a lot of fans there too, and I came out and I just, again, it was just one of those games. Must be something to do with Whangarei. I was just hitting everything. And like, I was like, what the hell's going on right now? I remember I had someone running out at me, and I had to turn, not facing the hoop, to catch the ball. And I seen that he was just going to hit me and foul me. So I caught it, and he hit me, and I just spun 360, and it went in. And I was like, holy crap, what the hell is going on? So I think that was one of my favorite like memories of actually just being like able to score the ball.
Yeah.
Damn.
Crazy.
Speaking of Sam,
Yeah.
obviously you played with him in the Prems at Westlake.
Yeah.
Does it almost somewhat inspire you, seeing what he's now doing for the Breakers, like in one of the best leagues in the world, or somewhat motivate you to maybe be able to get to that stage as well? Or
Yeah, for sure. Like, I think it's cool just being able to say you played with these players.
Sure.
Sam, Tane, like all these guys. Like, it's just really cool to be able to say, yeah, I stepped on the
Share
court.
the call with him.
You know, definitely motivates me. I think not necessarily the fact that I play with him at Westlake, but more like that we're close and then we come and train together. And well, I don't feel necessarily like out of place as much when I play with him.
Yeah.
I mean, we more play together and I more get my open looks because of him, but still, like, it's just fun, like, actually getting out there and now feeling like a confidence. Because I remember coming up through like high school and intermediate, like when I would go into a team, I'd often take the back seat to guys and just probably not have the confidence to like do stuff when I was on the court with them, just because they were better than me. But now, like, when I go out there, you know, when you play with people like him, he instills confidence in you to just like, you know, you belong, like, just play like you. So
How crazy was he in high school?
he was crazy.
Yeah.
He had games where it was on another level. I'll never forget St. John's when we were supposed to lose. Everyone was picking them to be the favourites. And he came out and scored like 40 points and dunked all over someone. And it was just like, wow. Like, that was like, I wouldn't say it was his coming out moment, because he had a lot of coming out moments before that, but it was like a true, like, this guy's on another level, because he was doing it every single way. It wasn't just that he's 7 foot or whatever, however tall he is, and he's bigger than everyone else. It was like shooting threes, shooting off the dribble.
Yeah.
It was one of the craziest things I've seen.
That 2019 Westlake boys team, that has to be one of the best Prems teams in recent memory, isn't it?
At Westlake.
With Sam,
Westlake.
Still, Josh, Jet.
Okay, but
it
it's
was
funny.
the other starting.
You say that at the
Member.
time, maybe not. Like, love Wilkie, but he's not the player he was now. Wilkie is an absolute bucket now, don't get me wrong. But back in He's gonna hate my guts. But he would agree with me. I mean, like, he wasn't the player he is now. I mean, I'm sure everyone has improved drastically since then. But that team, I feel like, sad to say, I think Westlake basketball has kind of gone down the gutter a bit since we've kind of all left.
Oh, that's a bit harsh.
I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I think they missed nationals in 2024.
They did.
Yeah.
I think I actually, in terms of like talent in the moment, I don't think like the team the year before in the moment were really talented. Like with James Moores, Sam was also on that team.
That was...
it was 2017.
2017,
before, so
that team was very good.
And I think like in the moment, they were a very talented team. And like, I think we were very talented in the moment too. But I think the thing with us is like, when you look at what some of us have gone on to do now and like just where we've got to, I think that's where you look at us and say, yeah, it's got some good players. You know, Jet obviously NZNBL, and then we've got Sam just killing it in the Breakers, and now Wilkie in the NZNBL too.
You even had players like Paul Winitano,
Exactly.
went off to BYU, which was crazy as well. People forget about that. You had players, I mean, like Ruben Atouche was around at the time. He was on the Saints roster for a bit.
Yeah.
Players like that, man. I mean, like, it was a very stacked team to see how, like, far that, I think it must have been like 2019 team.
Yeah.
See what some of these boys have actually gone on to do is really special, I think.
Definitely some late bloomers, I would say.
Yes.
Some guys who stuck with it, you know, maybe when they weren't the top level talent at the time, and just continue to grind their way through. And
realistically, you look at it, I mean, other than Sam, I mean, no one went to college.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy, because I feel like the college route from New Zealand has gotten slightly easier. I think it wouldn't even be that crazy to say. I mean, you see players getting JUCO colleges coming out of their asses now trying to pick them up. But like, obviously Sam off to Davidson, a literal like one of the biggest D1 colleges, obviously Steph Curry's school. I mean, he only did 3 years, goes and plays for the Taipans. I mean, that in itself, being able to shoot court, bro, it's crazy. It's crazy stuff. It's awesome.
And obviously none of you guys are in your prime yet, so who knows where you're going to get to.
Hope not.
Speaking of, what are like what's your big end goal with basketball? Not to put you on the spot, but and so maybe some smaller short-term goals that like you see yourself getting in the next couple of years.
I mean, like, obviously the end goal is to just go as far as you can make it. Like, NBL would be so cool, but I'm not gonna like. I think now I've realized that kind of it's bigger than basketball life in general. Like, I'm not gonna stress over if I don't make that jump to the Breakers or even NBL 1. Like, man, I love my spot with where I'm at with Shepparton. I get to be like the star point guard, the star player almost on a team who like loves me and stuff. So I think my end goal obviously would be have a crack on an NBL team, but NBL 1 would be great. Or even if I don't make it, I'm not gonna be like, damn, I failed. Like, I think I'll still be like, man, this is a really cool opportunity that I've got
100%.
in my life, playing for Shepparton. You know, and even hopefully one day I can come back home and play for Auckland. That'd be even sick. Just as cool.
You and Wookie with another link up.
Sure.
Reunion.
Yeah.
Hey, little teaser as well. Potentially Dylan Wookie on the pod next week, team. So stay tuned for that. Obviously the new Tuatara signing, so that'll be awesome. Former teammate of Josh's, of course. But hey, we're gonna fire some potential quick fire questions at you. We'll move on from getting deep diving into your life. I mean, we probably just pulled out a whole autobiography on the Fast Break pod here from Josh Kooiman today. But look, couple quick fire questions.
Yeah.
Favorite NBA
So is this
team?
one word answers?
One word answers, or
You can do a little short
you can go on.
elaboration.
We'll start
Yeah.
the obvious one. Who's your favorite NBA team?
Oh, OKC. Not close.
Bandwagon.
First team. Well,
Bandwagon.
it's
I remember you were a fan back from school days.
I can't say it's the first team I seen. I guess the Lakers were the first team I seen on TV, but it is technically a bandwagon because the reason I supported them was the first year when they made the final with Miami.
2012?
Yep, 2012 with KD, Russ, Harden.
Damn,
that was my
crazy
first
team.
year supporting them, and then I haven't wavered since.
Yeah.
Even through the rough the last 2 years, which like they were rough, but I've been a fan forever. So.
Now you're back on top.
The Chris Paul led Thunder in the bubble was something else, mate.
since I've watched the NBA, they have been my team.
Did Stevie have any part to play in?
Nah, because I was the year before, so
I
seen him the year before, and honestly, when he came, it was like I was excited, like it's cool, but I wasn't even like, yeah, man, we got a Kiwi now. This is so cool. I was just like, he's just another player.
Yeah.
You know? And then when he became good, that's when I was like, oh, we can't lose this guy.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because he's a Kiwi. It was like, we can't lose this guy because of how crucial he is.
So he's very underrated and underrated.
100%.
Like,
100%.
even on the Rockets this season, I think Steven Adams has been
I've said I
pretty big.
think he's the best player in the league at two things:
Screening.
offensive rebounding and screens.
Oh.
And I feel as though if you're the best in the league at anything, you need to be getting more minutes than he is.
I mean,
That's just my take on it.
Coming off an injury.
I mean, he gets anyone open. Like
Anyone.
Anyone.
Him and Ja on Memphis was silly.
I remember
silly.
It's funny, like obviously it's a scrimmage, but Riley was saying
Riley
from Hoop 33, he played with him and he was just like, yeah, it's the most open I've ever been. Like he's just like it's just so easy playing with him. So
Back to quickfire. Who's your favorite player, past or present?
Pass Russell Westbrook.
Fair. Very fair.
I won't lie, it was KD.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
did he break your heart?
Yeah, he broke my heart. First heartbreak was KD. He snaked me, and then it was Westbrook. And I think I would have, even if KD stayed, I think as I've grown older, I would have loved Westbrook more. Just I love the passion and the drive, like all that kind of stuff.
I love what he's doing in Denver.
And
I love it.
He may not be the smartest player in the world, but I will never not back him.
I remember some heated debates you and I got into about Russell Westbrook and Damian Lillard.
Oh, probably
back in the day.
I mean, I'll never waver.
He's having a great year.
He is.
Yeah, he's doing. Bro,
He is.
Russ has done some great things in Denver this year too. If you could mold your personal game on from any player, past or present, could be NBA, NBL, Sal's NBL, any player.
Yeah.
Who would you mold your game after? Like, who are you trying to at least? Or who's a player that you could just dream of being that person on the NBA on a basketball court?
Chris Paul.
Chris Paul.
Ooh.
Very good answer.
I love Chris Paul. I love his leadership. Obviously, probably a bit more the OKC Chris Paul than the now Chris Paul. I think he's a bit more pass only now. The OKC Chris Paul, when he could still shoot.
Yeah.
That was my favorite. He was just a leader. He got everyone in spots where they wanted, and then he could still score the rock when needed. I think that's my big thing is I just want to be able to score the rock when needed. I don't want to just be the guy who's taking 100 shots a game. It needs to be the needed side. And so Chris Paul. Yeah.
Game-winning three or a game-winning block?
That's a silly question for Josh Kooiman. Come on.
I mean, technically, maybe I'd say block because I've never got one, but it would have to be three. I think anyone, even a person who could block shots on often would still say a three, man. I don't think there's a better feeling. I've hit one, and it was probably one of the best feelings ever.
I think a big swat block, where
you
can really hear the ball.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That would be cool.
Okay, big question here. NBA champs for this season.
OKC.
Yep, I knew it was coming. It was coming.
And the MVP?
Right? Oh,
SGA.
SGA.
I think this might be a little bit. I think he might get not unanimous, but
No.
he's a front runner for sure. And
no, Jokic still. Bro.
SGA right
SGA's
now.
two for me.
SGA right now is the front runner of MVP in my personal opinion.
Okay.
Best record in the NBA, leads the league in scoring, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals.
Man, what he just did to the
Ridiculous.
Cavs.
40
cemented it as the front runner, but what Jokic is doing is just
It's
on
disgusting.
another level.
It's disgusting.
It is ridiculous. And the Celtics, I will not be, we're winning this for sure. If we played them in the finals as OKC, I would be very scared of the Celtics. They're still
one of the best teams.
Yeah, if not the best.
team.
Yeah.
I just don't think Jokic wins it. 7th seed in the West.
And he's won it too many times. And
Voters fatigue, guys.
Yeah.
The thing. LeBron got it.
Shouldn't
Jokic's
be.
turn.
Shouldn't be though. You
Yeah,
look at his
it shouldn't,
previous
no.
MVPs,
Oh,
and he's
yeah.
doing even more insane things this year than the years he won.
I mean, he probably should be on what? He won. When did he win his first one? 22? He should probably be on 4 in a row.
Yeah,
Arguably.
that Embiid,
Yeah.
Potentially Jokic still sort of won that as well.
Arguably,
Yeah.
so-
Silly thing. Jokic is a one of a kind. He okay, look, this might be a bit of a stretch here, team. Give it 10 years.
Yeah.
Now, if he wins a couple more MVPs, a couple more chips, keeps averaging what he's averaging, they're almost wilt numbers in modern NBA.
Yeah.
Where's he on the GOAT list?
Top 10.
Top
10.
It's got to be more than top 10.
Yeah.
I reckon it might
He
be
probably
more.
pushes 5, probably pushes Timmy out, right?
Yeah.
That'd be close.
I
But
feel as though his game style as well is one suited for going really old. I mean, he's not athletic at all.
He's
on
fat.
the ounce of athleticism.
Jokic is fat, bro.
He could be doing this at 38.
Easily, man. He's not fast. He's slow as hell. I mean, his knees might, pack out with all the weight on top of him and shit. But damn, Jokic, bro, like, give him 10 more years, healthy career, bro. I'm telling you.
Could be doing this at 38, or he could be just buying more horses.
Yeah.
Not seen ever
Hey,
again in 2 more years.
Brothers in the crowd still, like, punching up on the Suns fans and shit. But. All right, well, big question here. Who is your GOAT?
Man, this is the one question that I seen you sent me, and I was actually pondering this in the car, and I was like, oh, I don't know who to choose.
Ooh.
I think MJ's the GOAT.
Respect.
I think it's hard to go past 6-0.
Oh,
Yeah. MJ.
I know Adam Singer's like, what is wrong with you?
He's screaming through the camera right now.
Adam is so pissed. Hey, but yeah, Michael Beasley's his GOAT, so I mean,
But
shit.
it's hard to go past 6-0, man.
Yeah.
It's hard to go past 6-0.
It's been a while since I've heard anyone who's like actually tossed it up like you
Yeah.
have. I feel as though most people are usually
Seal
like
stone.
very set on one side.
Like, I've been LeBron my whole time in the GOAT debate, and
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever change.
Yeah.
And I've always
And, like,
been MJ.
You've always been MJ, and like it's the same. I've never met somebody who's like, man, maybe it's
I think like
and then we got those weird dudes that say Kobe's the GOAT, bro.
they're delusional. My thing with it is like people say, oh, MJ's game like wouldn't translate to today's era, and I'm like, that guy is probably the hardest worker maybe the league has ever seen. So skilled, so talented. You don't think that if he was born today he would adapt his game to that level, you know? Like, I think we look at him, we say, oh, look at the way like Wilt played, or he played with plumbers. It's like, yeah, but at the time they were the best athletes in the world. They had the best drive, right? So like, if you put them in today's game, do you not think that they're going to have the drive to do what the guys are doing now? Like, it's more of a mentality thing. Yeah, I get the skill wasn't there, but that's probably because we didn't understand the game as well back then, you know? So
100%.
I think that's why I look at it. Like, it's hard to compare eras, so I just...
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't have the technology that we have now as well. Like, they didn't even have shooting machines, bro. Like, that didn't exist.
I mean,
they had that little board that fucking hit the ball back to them.
And I mean, MJ probably did it like smoking 10 cigars a day, drinking every night. So it makes it even more
snorting
impressive.
lines in the 86 season where he got drafted and they could pull about 25 people into Chicago.
Getting his dad killed for gambling.
Oh,
Hey, look, MJ's got all the controversy off the court. LeBron has got a lovely family. And
Don't tell me he's loyal. Don't tell me he's loyal. The most famous man in the world is not loyal to his wife. There's no way.
No chance.
Where's MJ's son, bro? Bronny's making the NBA, so poo-poo on that, man. LeBron's the GOAT, in my opinion, but no, you can always respect somebody, a good GOAT debate, for sure. Do you have any special shout-outs before we wrap up this and we get into some NBL action, maybe a bit of more NBA? Any special shout-outs to anybody in the last, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, maybe even like 10 years that you have in your whole basketball career that you just want to like show some love to before we move on?
I think first one obviously goes out to my family for pushing me and just supporting me. It's not easy giving up your son to go live overseas, but they've supported me. They've never talked bad of it. They've just said, you've got to do like what you've got to do. So first one to them. Obviously Zach Fitzgerald, he's taught me everything I know. Shows when I coach, because when I coach I'm just like, man, I just sound exactly like him. This is scary. So shout out to him. And then my other one would be my people in Shepparton, my girlfriend Talia, for supporting me. It's not easy, especially when I'm not home a lot of the time because I'll be training. So thanks for supporting me. And then my crew at the Bucket Center. Shout out the Bucket Center. If you're ever in Shepparton, get there. Tom Frame and Matt Bartlett, they're two of the coolest people in the world, man. So those people are my special shout outs. And Tanasha, he's been a good help for me with my mental well-being at times. So those are my people.
Beautiful. Very well done. Very well done.
Yeah.
Let's
get into some of these Breakers games, shall we?
Hey,
It's been
are you a big Breakers fan?
Do we really want to get into these games?
Hey, look, I don't know. Look,
I am a big Breakers fan.
2 games this round, of course. Will and I got down to the game on Thursday against Tassie. Well overdue. We haven't been to a game since what? November?
Yeah.
Pretty bad. Pretty poor.
They haven't lost when we're in the
They haven't.
crowd though.
They haven't. I've been to 3 games this year and they haven't lost a game in Spark Arena, so maybe we're good luck.
I went to one game and I'd just like to say it was against Perth, and I messaged Tanasha, you can ask him, and my family, you can ask them. They're playing Perth, and I said, Bryce against Taco, we know what happened last time. How many points does he score? I said 42. He scores 42 points. He finished with 41.
Oh,
that's one off, bro. That was my one
Damn.
game this year. So
speaking of Bryce Cotton and Breakers when he had 59. That was awesome.
Yeah.
That made me want to almost like end it all. I think me and Will calculate, obviously had the 41 piece and then the 50. He averaged 50 over 2 games against us. It was so dumb, bro. Like, and that hurt.
I didn't even think of it like that. Both games against Taco too. Let's just throw that out.
Look.
No shade to the friend of the show, Taco 4.
We go way back, bro.
Yeah, deep drops. A deep drop is probably not the answer against Bryce Cotton.
Not particularly. Some would say.
Didn't see that happening.
The game against Tasmania on Thursday, though. PJC's first game back after his 5-game suspension. Look, he wasn't the bright spot that night. Sam Meninga, we talked about him earlier with you, Josh.
Yeah.
29 on the night, 9 boards, 13 from 15 from the field. A huge night. 3-pointers, mid-ranges, post moves. Man, he was going crazy.
Yeah.
Love to see that. So that got us over the line as well. Me and Will have been harping on about it for probably the last 3 or 4 weeks. Where the hell is Sam Meninga? Why is he not starting? Terry Kooiman finally folds, gives Sam the starting rollback, and he goes crazy. Loved it.
It was insane. But let's not skip over what you just mentioned, Finn. PJC. He recorded 8 points.
No.
I'm going in on you on this, bro.
No.
You said that PJC will never ever score less than 10 points in a Breakers jersey.
Oh no.
Do you wanna maybe explain yourself?
Yeah, so we've been running that probably since last season. I don't think he scored less than 10 last season. This season he hadn't scored less than 10. I think his less was the closest he got was 11.
Oh.
Okay.
8 points on the night. I think he took 7 shots, bro.
Yeah.
First game back from suspension. I honestly thought he was going to go off. He was like, I knew he would have been pissed, bro. PJC would have been so angry from that 5 games. I thought he was going to come out firing. I thought, man, he going for 30. He going for 30. 8 points. But, I mean, it doesn't matter. We got the win. Kareem Lopez was really good. What are your opinions on Kareem Lopez, by the way, Josh? Obviously, 17. Mexican. Next year he's here too. He's got to go NBA.
I think he's ridiculous. Some of the stuff he's doing at 17 is just
insane. Out
out of this world against grown men. He still shows glimpses of a 17-year-old. I think against Melbourne, you've seen it, right? You can't blame him. He was tagging in on Rob Lowe, but it's you got Chris Golding. That's a guaranteed layup. Even though it's on the 3-point line, that's a layup for him. So he got caught out a couple of times, and he did on the weekend. I'm sure you'll get into it in the next game against Southeast Melbourne, just making the decisions a 17-year-old makes. So, but in terms of skill, he's out of this world. I think he's NBA bound for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we got him for another season, honestly. It could be a hot take. I think he's going to be the best player on the team next year.
I like that.
As an 18-year-old, regardless of the 3 imports that we bring in, obviously, I'm not expecting PJC to come back next year. Obviously, a bit of a down year for him in terms of the suspension and how we've gone this season. Obviously, PJC still averaging near 20 points a game, one of the best players in this league. I think he's done.
Yeah.
I don't see Matt Mooney coming back. Obviously, Taco full here for another season too.
We think Sam's coming back?
I don't know. I would hope so.
Because I think he might be our best player next year.
Oof.
If he comes back.
Okay.
But I think you're on something with Kareem, though.
I like seeing Kareem's development from the start of the year, where, honestly, pre-season, first couple rounds, I was not sold a bit on Kareem Lopez. And for him, on that 7-win stretch we had before the FIBA break, man, impressed me so much. And he's still continued to be really good. So knowing that he's back for another year, and he's NBA bound, so he has to put on a show for his draft stock, I think he genuinely could be the best player on our team.
Think about how athletic he is now at 17. He had another year weight training.
He's still growing.
Still He's I don't know how tall he is, but he's just going to be even more athletic next year. I can't see a world where he's not one of our best players.
Shoot the ball better.
Is he shooting the ball better this now?
He's shooting decent.
I don't remember him hitting threes like this at the start.
No way.
He's getting better as the season goes
on. Far better. And more in this game as well, Jordan Crawford, 26 off the bench. We could not contain him. He's been very good all year. That was the only bright spot for Tassie. Milton Doyle, a bit of a quiet one.
Yeah.
What do you think of Jordan Crawford, Josh? He's obviously probably one of the smallest guys
I've
ever watched
play
basketball. And he just still cooks us.
I mean, you can't say anything bad. He's a champion, right? He is a champion. And the moment you become a champion as an import, it means something, right? But again, recipe for disaster. His game comes off screens and he likes to hop and he likes to shoot the 3. When you have guys sitting in a deep drops,
Taco full,
you're gonna get killed. And as long as whoever's screening for him cleans them up, which they did a good job of, he's coming off and that shot's going up 9 times out of 10. So I think he's a good player. And I think it's so like interesting to watch him at 5'8". Just some of the stuff he does, you're like, wow, that's
crazy.
It's really cool.
Hey, he was getting to the rim and making layups on Taco.
Yep.
Yeah.
At 5'8".
Crazy.
Yeah.
That one
Taco's
where he
got
put
what?
it up
Taco
way
has-
off the back rim.
Yeah.
Taco's almost got 2 whole ass feet on him. Bro.
He would.
That
wouldn't
is
he?
ridiculous.
Oh my god, I haven't thought of that.
Yeah.
This win surprisingly actually put us back in the hunt for the top 6.
Yep.
But
Until the next game.
Last night, off to Melbourne, Southeast Melbourne game, 89-102 to the Phoenix. Kareem Lopez, Matt Mooney getting it done on offensive in 20 each. PJC, Sam Meninga, a bit of a down game. Nate Sobey went crazy. Nate Sobey went very crazy.
28 points. Yeah, he's the guy that really cooked us in this one, and obviously iced our season. So shout out Nate Sobey. Cheers, mate.
Can't stand it.
Nah.
don't like
To be
it?
fair, we're
Not my
already.
favorite player.
Not your favorite player. I think it's funny because he's been around the league for a while now, and his season on Brisbane last year I thought was really impressive. I think he was like a top 5 in scoring, but he looks like a cancer.
Damn.
He's not a winner, right? Like,
Nah.
I think we can say that. Oh, like he can still flip it, I guess, this year, but just some of the stuff he does, like even last night, some of the shots he was taking. I mean, like unless they were going for the win percentage, he's shooting shots and there's still like 12 seconds left on the shot clock. And they're up 5 with 2 minutes to go, and you're like, well, you're lucky you're getting fouled. Really,
Yeah.
it's not a great shot. I think that's been his problem. Probably why he's not a winner. Like he's always going to put up good stats. He can score the ball. It's crazy. But yeah, I don't think they're winning anything this year.
Southeast Melbourne. They started off the season horrifically.
Yeah,
Before
exactly.
Josh King came in,
Yeah.
turned their season around.
Coach of the year.
Yeah.
Bit of like a Justin Tatum arc with Josh King, obviously big resume in Europe, defensive minded coach, completely turned their season around. Southeast Melbourne, I think, were winless within the first 3 rounds of the season before they got rid of their old coach. So
Did last night qualify them for?
I think if I look at the ladder briefly,
They're in the sixth spot.
they're currently sitting in 4th.
Oh, 4th.
So 14 wins on the year.
Yeah.
I think they have one more game left in hand.
Damn.
Or maybe no, more than that, sorry. I think
Who
5.
did they jump?
Sydney.
Sydney.
Sydney,
Yeah,
and
Sydney's
Sydney's
been on
playing
a
now,
roll.
though.
Sydney playing right now. They got Tassie. They're up 5 on Tassie, which is
It's a big game,
massive
isn't it?
game.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. Tassie lose this one, that opens up the door for Adelaide and Brisbane to potentially jump into that top 6. Which
I think Adelaide's the team to watch, though.
just quietly, I would love to see Adelaide in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Man.
Especially the news that's been going on recently.
Melbourne, Adelaide, and a 3-6. Is that how they do it?
Ooh.
No, they
Yeah,
did 5-6 first.
yeah.
5-6.
And then
yeah.
4 versus
3.
5?
Yeah, they'll lose. Oh,
4-3,
4-3, and then
Yeah.
they'll lose it. I think something interesting to think about with this Breakers loss, I didn't really realize it until I looked at my super coach and then thought that they're playing again on Saturday. Is this travel?
Oh, it's
And
insane.
let's go back to the start of the year with the USA tour.
Oh,
Like,
don't get Josh.
yeah.
Don't boil my blood, mate.
And
Don't
think,
do it. Don't do it.
We forget about it because it was so long ago, but that it has an impact when you're playing. They played 3 games in 6 days.
It's nuts.
It has an impact when you're doing all this traveling.
Yeah.
I think
Plus
I
that
saw-
USA tour at the start of the year, and they started off slow, right? That's probably
Yeah.
why they lost. They started off slow.
And then we went on that crazy hot
Yeah.
streak where we won 8 straight.
And
that was
usually-
after the US tour as
Yeah.
well, which makes no sense.
And when I think about starting off slow in a game, in my personal games, usually it's because you're tired, and then it takes you getting your ass kicked to wake up and be like, "Oh, this is embarrassing."
Yeah.
And usually it's too late. So I think last night they're probably tired at the start of the game. 3 games in 6 days, not great, but
Ridiculous.
that's not great because you have such a hectic start to the year where you're traveling to America, traveling to Perth, so
It just
think
makes
I've
it even
seen-
more crazy.
Yeah.
They're playing 3 games in 6 days, and
I
that
think that's
seems
what they
crazy in the
played,
NBL.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
in the NBA,
Oh,
that's just
jeez.
Back to
standard.
backs, bro.
Back-to-back
They were
games.
playing. They were doing back to back
Oh.
to backs back a few years ago too.
Yeah.
And
three,
they're
they had to
48-minute
cancel them.
games as well.
I mean,
So it's
yeah.
Their rosters are so deep though.
And they're flying on a private jet, probably with an
Yeah.
ice bath and a sauna and
the recovery is crazy.
Bloody toilet with a throne on it made a goal or something, bro. Holy shit. But NBA is crazy. But yeah, look, that loss against Southeast Melbourne Phoenix essentially put our season to an end.
Right.
We're going to do a big review in a few weeks' time once it's completely done. There's obviously the wooden spoon out of the equation. I'm pretty sure Ken's literally cannot couch us. So
Okay, good.
praise the Lord.
Good.
Thank God. we won-
Ken's did get the
we haven't
win.
lost that.
Ken's did get a win this week as well, so that was helpful.
So does Petri, I can't say his name.
Peteri.
Petri Kooiman come back?
I like Pateri.
I like him.
I like him too.
I
but
really like him. I mean, the
Does
he
he
got-
personally want to come back?
I don't know. I think he got put in such a shit situation.
100%.
You never want to be a coach where you've gone top of the league in the first 9 games. Freddie Gillespie, obviously slow start, ends up being one of the most important pieces on our team defensively. Offensively was finding himself too. Things were clicking, the cogs were cogging, everything was working. Terry Copen's offense was literally to a T perfect for the Breakers, the way that they ran their offense. And then for somebody like a drastic change, not even just a player, an alien of Taco Fall, 7'6", one-of-a-kind player to join mid-season. That is the worst possible scenario you can have for a coach.
Yeah.
Imagine trying to sit there, at least probably staying up late at night, his brain working his ass off trying to think, how do I get Taco Fall to work on this team? Worst situation you could possibly be in as a coach. And look, I don't know if Pateri even wanted Taco Fall, man.
Yeah.
I've fallen back on this multiple times. I always thought it was a bit of a marketing scheme, a few more clicks. I mean, I don't want the Breakers head office to hate me, but look.
The front office are the people who ruined our season.
Unfortunately,
if we're being
This
perfectly
is the owner, right?
The decisions they made is what's led us to the.
We thought we
ninth
were trending in the right direction
Yeah.
again. After we sold the team from the owners, the Walsh family, we went a bit downhill. We had a few questionable decisions, and we heard some rumors about what the culture was like, and you're like, oh, it's starting to click again. Under Modi, obviously we lost him, which was unfortunate, and then this happens, and it's just like, what, are we
back to ground zero, man. It's really rough, and man, that 2022 season was special.
Yeah, for sure.
Brantley, Barry Brown, and Derek Harden. Will
What a
McDowell
team.
White, honestly, one of my favorite players that's ever put on a Breakers jersey.
Sure.
Honestly, that team, the culture, the grit and grind of the Breakers that year, honestly, I was like, man, bring them all back. They're going to run it back. But then obviously PJC comes in, Anthony Lands, Ivan Cheatham last year. Man, if they stay healthy, I was thinking of Shep on the road as
me
well.
too, man.
100%.
Cheatham was out a lot. Anthony Lamb goes down with the Achilles injury. PJC was the only healthy one out of the three of them all. Yeah, man, we still looked really damn good.
PJC and Anthony Lamb were top 3 in the league.
They
scoring
both
as well.
averaged 20.
Man.
Will McDowell White a down year last year though because of his shoulder. He was out a lot as well. Obviously, he killing it in Europe now. Go Will McDowell White, go you, buddy. But hey, this season, man, the one thing that irks me in a little bit of a weird way, with the New Zealand Breakers, I think we have 3 Kiwis on our team.
Yeah. I always ask the question: is what Kiwis want to come here though?
But they don't, obviously.
Yeah.
Shay Ely going crazy in Melbourne. Rob Lowe as well now. He's
Exactly.
obviously left the Breakers. Obviously, something's not. I mean, you got Flynn Cameron over there too.
Yeah.
You got really good Kiwi hoopers.
He's off contract. Hopefully,
Oh.
Fingers crossed, we can sneak him.
Wardenberg.
He's been hooping.
Wardenberg,
Wardenberg,
he's the ideal person
Mate,
any team wants.
mate.
Man.
Bro.
underrated.
Yeah.
Captain
So
of
good.
Cairns, man, he is so tough.
For sure.
So tough. I
sure.
really like him on Cairns. But yeah, look,
Yeah.
next season, obviously we're getting a bit far ahead of ourselves, still got a few rounds left. But look, next season, at the start of this year, I see my expectations were so low.
Yeah.
And Will looked at me like, nah, we're going to win it, bro. Look, PJC's going to average 25.
Someone's gonna be optimistic.
You weren't wrong, Will, until we made that
look,
decision, man.
he
We
was
were
Freddie
good.
was looking good, bro.
Yeah,
What are we doing?
I was getting completely proven wrong. The Breakers proved everyone wrong. And then man, all came crashing down after that feed break, man. Very, very unfortunate. But look, there's still a few games left. We're going to back them, of course.
Still break those down for you guys. So.
Playing for pride, of course, at this point. But by the time the end of the season comes around, we're going to have a full wrap, of course. And then Sal's NBL, not far away as well. So that's going to be very exciting to cover on
time.
here.
And lots of NBA always, which we'll get into. A little bit of
course.
NBA real quick. Any big trades at the moment, boys? In the
Nick
NBA?
Richards to the Suns, personally. I mean, there hasn't really been anything else, but this is a perfect pickup for Phoenix, personally. Yusuf Nurkic, bit of a poo year off to the bench. He's beefing with people. Nick Richards, honestly, under Mark Williams, great center on Charlotte. Nick Richards, man, he's still up there for
And in his first game today, 21 and 11.
There you go. There you go.
Yep.
Already looking like he could be that piece for Phoenix. I think he might elevate them a little bit, but I don't think they're title contenders or something.
They still need to figure out the 3-point line and what that is because they shoot a lot of twos, man. And that's hard to win in today's NBA.
Ridiculous. Hey, on the right
100%.
side, they have KD,
Yeah.
who's averaging 27 a game.
Bit of a down year for Burke.
It is a bit of a down year for
the
Burke.
All-Star game, Josh?
Yeah, I think he makes it based
Really?
upon
Name value.
credentials, name value.
Yeah, that's a
etc.
good point.
He's the coolest guy in the NBA behind SGA, probably.
Oh,
right?
mm.
He's
Fair play.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler, this is obviously going to be coming around a lot.
Yeah.
I thought he was never going to play a game in a Heat jersey again.
Neither did I.
Served the 7-game suspension. Takes the court. Was it today or yesterday? I think he took the court. I'm so surprised. He's, one, still in the organization. 2, he's willingly put a uniform on. And, I just want to know, where is he going? I'm like, it's got to be soon. It's got to be soon. And, look, all the signs are pointing to the Suns still for me.
Yeah.
Is this a good fit for him? On the Suns?
Still too many twos, right? Like,
he's
a
a
guy
shitload
who
of
shoots
threes.
twos.
Yeah.
I actually think the interesting thing is like he's not gonna stop playing because he's on a contract year, right? So he can I think he can opt out or he's done. I'm not sure which part, but he's still fighting for that contract. So it's the underrated piece of this is that he's always gonna play hard because he wants more money.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Not a lot of teams can trade for him, right? So I don't know. Who do you see?
Yeah, I think Phoenix is the only real.
Well, Beal's going to be a part of it.
Yeah,
And-
you need
and
to
maybe
trade a
I think
player
they
that
got
has a contract to match.
They got a
so-
2031. They got a 2031 first round that apparently has been in talks. I mean, why are we trading a 12-year-old?
Here's my question: would you rather get Jimmy Butler for Bradley Beal, who's on a 4-year deal with $60 million, or Jimmy Butler
and a no trade clause as well.
or Jimmy Butler for nothing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit rough.
Right, like I think I'd rather get Butler for nothing, honestly, just because of how bad that contract is.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, Brad, I saw this somewhere. Bradley
Yeah.
Beal goes to the Heat, and he's not going to want to waive that no trade clause just for any team to get traded to. So the Heat are going to be locked into that, and they're a top free agency destination as well.
100%.
So they're not going to be able to go out and sign maybe some of these big players that are coming on up to contract years in the next 1 or 2 years.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
So yeah.
Hey, well, did you see the game the other day?
Let's not get started, bro.
Did you see the game the other day?
Yeah, the Clippers beat us. Cool.
Yeah,
whatever.
Did you see how many points we beat you by?
Oh,
I
a
didn't
bunch.
think.
I think it was like 30.
Oh jeez.
Was it? Cool.
And then we're actually, funny you say that, Josh. We're on a back-to-back as well.
Oh really?
Did you
He
see how
played
many
us
points-
in the Nets, mate.
Did you see how many
so
points
chill
we beat the
out.
Nets by?
I've seen that one.
58. And guess who the Blazers lost to just before we played the Nets? Oh, it was the Nets. Oh.
Wow, you must be so proud of yourself, bro.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, just quietly, I mean, you were trying to tell me the Blazers were going to be a top 10 seed in the
Oh,
East this
jeez.
year.
You know what? It doesn't matter because at least we have a future.
Yeah.
You guys
Oh,
have
cool.
nothing. Absolutely nothing. Your
Future's
whole future
now.
is with the bro Josh's team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, fair point.
Do I need to remind you what that trade was? That you gave?
You don't.
Huh? Paul
And
George,
all I know,
SGA.
yep.
Yeah.
And,
There we go.
Well, Kawhi Leonard plays basketball and it makes me smile.
Doesn't play it very well anymore though.
Yeah. He's played 3 games, bro. Hey, I think we're the 5th seed in the West, by the way. So before you start poo-pooing the Clippers, bro, watch out. We're missing the play-in. We're going straight to the first round.
And you'll be first round exit.
Okay.
So it doesn't really matter. You should be wanting to be lower so you get a higher draft pick.
Yeah.
Because the higher
Oh
you
no,
get,
but our
the worse the
draft pick
you're gonna
goes
get.
straight to the Thunder.
True. Yeah, so you're playing for
There
nothing.
was
at
a
this
point in this season, Josh, where the Clippers looked so ass. I thought we were going to be in the lottery.
Yeah.
And I thought Cooper Flag was going to be on the Thunder next year. Like, it was a genuine thought that had crossed my mind, but we turned it around. So that's always good. But Josh, obviously, big Thunder fan.
Yeah.
You watch every game? Or most?
Oh, full games. The NBA is hard to watch full games. let's be
Yeah,
honest,
yeah,
right?
it's really hard.
I watch all the highlights, and I watch the highlights of them playing. OKC posts their own highlights, mostly of their offense, and then when they have a big game, if I didn't watch it live, I will try watch it live, and if I didn't, I'll watch fan-made highlights so I can see both sides and stuff like that. But yeah, I'll try to watch every single highlights there is, except when they play the Wizards. Like,
So, shout out James Anderson, 33, big Wizards fan. Love you, James. But what I was going to say, are you happy with this? Like, do you enjoy watching Thunder basketball?
it is so much fun.
Yeah.
It is so much fun. And I think as a basketball player myself, it is so much fun too because I get to watch SGA make these incredible moves and just think, oh, I can go try that tomorrow.
That's
so
cool.
it's like, I think that's a cool part about them right now. But just their culture is the best thing to see. Like, everybody just wants each other to succeed. And I think that's what you require to win a championship. And I think the hardest part is like, do we need another piece? Or like, not necessarily a superstar, but like a guy who can score the ball a bit better, Jordan Clarkson, someone who can just come in like a microwave.
Yeah.
Maybe,
Yeah.
but if you give up, like we've seen what happened with Trey Mann and how upset the players got, if you give up someone who's of importance to our culture, how do the players react? That's my question.
they have a brotherhood.
Yeah.
In Oklahoma, right? Like
For
the
sure.
way they all post match with their
Barking.
reporter and barking and stuff. Like
Yeah.
the way they all post up like after games,
Yeah.
like they are brothers.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that's so underrated.
For sure.
And in like the NBA, I feel like a lot of teams that are beefing never play well. Phoenix in particular,
Yeah.
obviously.
Did you like the Hardenstein pickup?
I love him. I think he's
Yeah.
amazing. I think he's a European
So
player.
good.
I'm so excited to see him play with Chet. I think that's why I'm not like, we need another player, we need another scorer, because we haven't seen Chet and Hardenstein together. And when Chet was playing, man, he was
very good.
playing.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see that. Once I see that, that's when I make my decision of like, okay,
We going all the way.
yeah, we're going. Well, I think we're going all the way regardless, but
Mm.
more this is what we need. Do we actually need it? Because hopefully Chet can be that guy who's just, okay, SGA is on the bench. We can get it out of Chet and J-Dub.
Mm.
I think that was our problem last year when SGA went to the bench. We just didn't have it.
Yeah, well, Chet's potential is through the roof, bro.
Exactly.
He's like obviously not on a similar realm to Wemby because
Yeah.
Wemby's a
Yeah.
freak of nature, but like 7'2",
Yeah.
puts the ball on the floor, shoots the ball efficiently on all levels. Like
Shot blocker.
Yeah.
very like honestly could be a depoy candidate in the future. Like.
I mean, probably no one's ever winning that award.
No.
Oh no, Wemby's got that wrapped up
Yeah.
like for the next like 10 years,
Yeah.
bro. Unless
Yeah.
voters fatigue comes into play, but
Yeah. Never seen that with the depoys. So that'll
Yeah.
be very interesting.
yeah,
Right?
exactly. But
Yeah.
no, like the Thunder's future. I mean, like your
Yeah.
team, you have one of the youngest teams in the league.
Yep.
And the craziest thing about it is that every single player on the team is just going to get better.
Yep.
So,
and we got guys on contracts who are sticking around, and they're on contracts that are friendly. Hartenstein gets paid a lot this year, and then it just goes down for the next 3 years, right?
Mm.
So, friendly contracts. I think, it's looking good.
a dynasty is on the way. some could
Fingers
say,
crossed,
in
man.
Oklahoma.
Fingers crossed. I truly believe it.
Yeah, it's fair play. I think they're going to do very good.
Yeah.
They're going to be the first seed in the West for the
Mhm.
next however many years.
Yeah.
I mean, the Nuggets obviously down a year. I mean, Jokic's still there, but they're just not that team anymore. That can be a first seed. And then, I mean, who even is the second seed? I think the Thunder or not the Thunder, sorry, the Rockets
And
the Grizzlies. Obviously, I mean, damn. Houston, huge future as well. I mean,
100%.
really good year for Sengun and Jalen Green, but I mean, Jalen Green's efficiency is kind of ass.
Mini OKC, could you say?
Yeah, I mean, potentially.
Yeah.
I mean, Fred VanVleet, more of like a vet dude. I mean, Steven Adams in the locker room is perfect for the young core as well. And then, I mean, Memphis is scary, man. I think Ja is just, I mean, obviously, besides all the drama, and I wouldn't say he's underrated, but I think people forget how talented that man was before he had to take that
Did
suspension.
you guys see that dunk on Wemby? he had?
Bro,
It didn't
No,
count.
I
but
heard about it, but I did not see it.
Holy
Insane,
shit.
eh?
Yeah.
Mate, that would have been dunk of the year. Maybe dunk of the decade. Maybe potentially dunk of the decade. Dunking on a
I never
7
thought I'd
foot.
see anyone dunk on
Yeah.
Wemby. So.
No way, not like that.
If anyone
Like,
was going to try, it was going to be him.
bro, like, a guard, like he's only 6'2", man. Like, and it's scary. I mean, if Ja develops some, obviously he shoots the ball okay from 3, but man, if he develops a consistently good jump shot, he's gonna be so tough.
Yeah.
And he's got years to do it.
Yep.
And like, Memphis got that potential as well. I mean, I feel like they have sort of that similar culture surrounding with like the Thunder do.
For sure.
Maybe like Houston had like sort of a younger team, older dudes in the locker room as well.
Yeah.
Like you got Concha,
Yeah.
just in there doing his thing. So hey, just random shit like that. But then I mean, to be fair, I mean out of the East, I mean you got Cavs.
Yeah.
Similar thing as well. Pretty young team. Like
Yeah.
these younger teams are running the NBA now. Like obviously it's that new era.
Yeah.
I mean, how many more years is LeBron, Curry, KD? Like how many years these guys got left?
Curry's
Not many.
done. But
Oh, here we go.
I have to say it every week.
Yeah.
I want a special shout out to Cade Cunningham as well, though.
Yeah.
Oh,
I saw a thing
hey.
today about
Yep.
him, year 4 Cade, and they compared his stats to year 4 Shea, actually.
Oh, really?
And they were like identical,
Yeah.
and except Cade was averaging more assists and better efficiency across the board.
Right.
So could he potentially have a career path like Shea and become one of those best guards in the league in a few years?
These people just forget.
Yeah.
Like the Pistons have been doing okay this year. Like,
Yeah.
I think they might be 500, which is crazy
Yeah.
considering how ass they've been
Yeah.
for however long now. But like, Cade Cunningham doesn't get the love he deserves because they're in such a a low profile team. Like
Yeah.
they're not one of those high like
Low market.
like a Lakers or a Celtics, you know, like Knicks as well. So like they don't really get the love. But man, Cade Cunningham, bro, like he's so tough, man. Play on words. Shout out Wade Jansen. That was for you, bro.
100%. He needs to be an all-star. If he doesn't make the all-star game,
I
that's crazy.
think he's gonna make an all-star.
His problem is he plays for Detroit, right?
Yeah.
and
We can't trust him as an organization. Are they going to do right by him?
I mean, look at this.
That's the question.
Look at this, my guy Blake Griffin, bro.
I mean,
Ruined his career.
Look at Monty Williams last year being the worst hiring of all time, not playing Jaden Ivey, and then what happens? They play Jaden Ivey, and he's ridiculously good. You know?
Now he's bloody
And
injured
where's,
for the rest of
and
the
where's
season,
Killian
bro.
Hayes, who he was playing over?
Oh, mate, out of the league. Mate, he sucked.
Man.
Yeah, Monty Williams, man. I mean, he was on the Suns before, right? I mean, they did all right. I mean, crazy how like coaches just in different situations are just so bad. Like Ime Udoka on the Rockets has been literally one of the best things that could have happened to them.
Because it's not just one coach. People keep thinking that it's
I
like
mean, there's the
just
whole
the head coach that
yeah.
like determines the team record. They've got so many assistant coaches and like special physios. Everybody contributes to like a team's winning record. So
Yeah.
I feel as though that's why coaches
100%.
sometimes are winning one place and then losing another.
100%.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good season regardless. I mean, we're about, a third of the way through.
Yeah.
Things change, things happen, people get injured, but for the most part, man, this is a very good NBA season. It's very entertaining.
Can't wait to come back
Very,
on when
very-
OKC's won.
Yeah,
bro. Fair play.
We'll
Fair
say it
play.
here now, shall we?
Yeah.
If OKC win the
I'll be
chip,
back on the podcast.
Josh is coming back
I'll
on,
zoom
guys.
in, I promise you.
Hell yeah. You heard it here first.
Once again, guys, like honestly, thanks so much, Josh, for coming onto the podcast.
Yeah.
It's been awesome having you on and hearing like your own story and stuff. And yeah, we'll have more guests coming in the
Next
few
week.
weeks, possibly.
Next week. You heard
Dylan,
it here
you're coming
first. Dylan, you're coming on. Newest Tuatara signing. I think it'll be a good chat. But, yeah, episode 21 on the books, team. Thank you all for tuning in once again. We'll be back next week as we watch the Breakers slowly and surely.
Any final words, Josh?
Thanks for having me. Appreciate you guys.
Hey,
Thanks
you're
for
more
coming
than welcome to come back, my friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's love,
Yes.
team. Until next week.